Welcome to the Real Estate Finder podcast. I'm Matthew Maschler, real estate broker, and I'm here to welcome you to the Big Orange. That's right. In case you have not heard it, Boca Raton is now known as the Big Orange. Why? All right. Well, stay tuned and we'll talk more about it. With me in the studio today is the co-host of the Signature Real Estate Finder podcast, Stacey Garcia. Hi, Stacey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And we also have Jill Glanzer. How are you?
I'm doing great.
How come you're not out showing houses today?
Oh, I'm taking time to do this podcast and then going to show houses starting at 1 o'clock.
All right. And also we have Signature Real Estate Realtor of the Week, Preston Smith. Hey, Preston.
Woo, hey, how are you doing?
What's going on?
Oh, not too much. Just working.
All right. Do you have a lot of customers coming in who want to buy a house that are coming in from New York City?
Not yet, but I'm anticipating a lot coming down.
All right. Well, everyone else in the office does. So
Yeah.
the phones are ringing off the hook with people from New York City trying to escape the Big Apple and get to the Big Orange.
I think that's because the mayor is full blast, blasting New York. Mayor Scott Singer tells the New York Post he's encouraging big business to head south to a more business-friendly city. And he says, is there even a comparison between New York City and Boca Raton? In Boca, we look to lower your taxes, not raise them. We prioritize public safety and fund our police system. And we make it easy to open a business with concierge services. And now he's asking us to asking New York, contact us to make your big move south. So I think
the mayor's saying to contact us at Signature Real Estate Finder?
No, he's saying contact Boca Development because he's representing the business development, council or whatever it is. So
he should add that he needs to contact Signature Real Estate Finder. Or, there's a lot of people in New York City. They should contact anyone at the Signature Real Estate companies. There's plenty of work to go around.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what my response to him was? I didn't have as big a platform. But when I heard that and people asked me about that, you know what my response was?
No.
We can't fit all of New York City in Boca Raton.
I think that's everybody's response, isn't it?
It's a very small city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we already did. I thought we already had all of New York City here and Long Island.
No. Just because everyone's from Long Island doesn't mean everyone from Long Island is here. It's a reverse principle.
Yeah.
And obviously not everyone is from Long Island or from Jersey. There's plenty of people from everywhere in Boca Raton. There's plenty of room for everyone. But in the state of Florida. So what do you think? The Big Orange? Do you think it'll catch on?
No, because University of Miami is University of Miami the Big Orange?
No, they're the U.
They're the U. Okay, so what's the orange? UF?
Syracuse is the Orange Men. Might be the Orange.
I don't know.
Which one? Which college is the Orange?
I feel like I've seen the orange guy.
That like the orange, like the mascot's dressed like an orange.
Maybe it's a team. I can't think of.
Yeah, but
I don't know if it'll catch on or not. I feel like soon there will be no orange. What do you call it? Groves, because they'll be building on them. So people are moving south. There'll be no more farms.
Well, that was the thing. Like someone asked me like recently, hey, where can they go orange picking? I'm like, you're gonna need a time machine.
Yeah, you used to be able to orange pick on Glades Road. You used to be able to go right where Uptown is. It used to be a U-picket strawberries. Originally, it was orange. I think they got rid of their orange trees earlier when there was a long time ago, like maybe, I hate to even say this, like 20 years ago, the city came and removed everybody's fruit trees because they had a virus.
There was a virus.
Remember that? I don't know if you were here for that, but it was a long time ago, and they took a huge orange tree out of our yard. Everybody removed their orange or all fruit trees. So, that U-picket on Glades Road is now Uptown.
Yeah, it was 2005
Yeah, when they took the oranges, when they took the trees.
It was the psyllid. It was like a bug.
Yes, it
Like
was.
a beetle. It was the citrus psyllid, I think it was called, and just devastated the orange industry here in Boca. So yeah, like all the factories shut down, all the farmers left the industry. But that was, and then
Oh, I know what it was. It was called citrus canker. That's
the canker. Yeah, the
citrus
canker.
It was very depressing, actually. I had a humongous orange tree in my backyard, and they came and took it, and it was a source of love.
Sure.
And like free oranges forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever.
Did the city make you cut them down?
Yeah, they cut them down. They came in and they cut all the trees in my neighborhood and everywhere. Within a certain amount of miles, they had to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was very sucky.
Yeah, the last orange grove around here was Blood's Citrus Orchards.
I used to go there when I was little.
I used to go there when I was big.
Yeah, it was a cool place.
It was right there on Linton and Military. When I was little, there was a lot more to see and do there. But when I moved here, again 20 years ago, you couldn't go into the orchards. You could go to the gift shop,
right?
And you could watch the sorting machines, but you couldn't get very far into it. Like I remember when I was little that if it was U-Pick, but maybe I was just somewhere else. But it was a great farm stand and farm shop, and then it had the ice cream. And after 4 o'clock, the ice cream cones were $1.
Yeah.
It was on my. I had my when I would vacation to Boca Raton. I had my regular things that I would do, including Murakami Japanese Gardens, which I love, and Blood Citrus Groves, which I'm trying to remember if I ever took David and Lindsay there. They were probably it had to have closed in 2006 or 7, right when we moved down here. But yeah, the Big Orange. The orange mascot I think you're thinking of is Syracuse, the Orange Men.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great if New Yorkers are. It's nothing new, though, right? Is it anything new?
Well, I said, Preston, what do you think? So I am going to give him the floor before I respond.
As far on what part exactly?
Anything you want to say?
Anything I want to say?
Not anything at all.
Anything at all. I mean, I just think it's positive because it's like with big businesses coming down to Boca, like that's, of course, everybody can't fit in Boca, but it's going to force people elsewhere in like Palm Beach and South Florida. So it's just going to mean, I think, a real estate boom for everyone in general. And Pompano alone is seeing so much development and is in the process of development. It's just like, I just foresee nothing but positive things coming from this.
Speaking of Pompano, do you want to say anything about the W in Pompano Beach in case any of our New York listeners want to?
Yeah. So the W is a really exciting project that they're working on. It's right on the ocean. I forget when it's supposed to be ready, but there's 2 different towers. One is one is like hotels and one are condos. And so the condos you can rent them out for a minimum of 6 months to a year. The hotels, the units that you buy, you can stay a maximum of there for 6 months out of the year. But it's just gonna be an amazing amenity place, and it's just I'm really excited. I loved my time when I went down there to go check it out.
If someone wants more information about the W Pompano Beach.
Sure, yeah, you can reach me at 843-532-1941 or my email address of preston@realestatefinder.com.
Did they build it yet?
No. Preston, what about the website you've been working extremely hard in building?
Oh, yeah. That's I haven't been to it in for a bit.
All right.
Pompano Beach Real Estate Finder.
Yeah.
What is it, Joe?
Pompano Beach realestatefinder.com.
Pompano Beach realestatefinder.com. And yeah, you can get all. Preston, tell me about the website.
Well, I mean, it has, you know, all the information that you could ask for when looking for finding out about the W. It gives you a great, you know, view of what's to come and what the amenities are like, and a nice breakdown and everything. So it's well worth the visit.
All right, I'm gonna.
I just stayed at the W and in Fort Lauderdale Beach for the Panthers parade, and if it's anything like the W in Fort Lauderdale, which I'm guessing it will, because they also have 2 towers, and you can also live there for a certain amount of time. You know, like either 6 months or longer. I'm not sure actually how long, but they do have full units with full apartments, and you can even stay in those, obviously. But one thing that's great about it is that you could also go there if you're not a resident, and you can go for the day. And a lot of people don't know that you can go to the W, you know, for a day, like a day spa, and use all their facilities as well. So the residents have all of those things at their.
If you go to this is the W in Fort Lauderdale. When you say go for the day, I could walk in off the street, walk in, and I could use it as if I'm staying there. I could just go to the pool, do whatever I want. I don't have to tell them.
No, you might need to make a day reservation. I forget what they called it. It was like W for the day, like a day, not a day trip, but it was something like that. Yeah, day pass. That's what it was. So we were in the pool, and I was like, wow, this would be a great place to come and hang out. And the guy that I was talking to who worked there, Marco, shout out, I stole his pen. This is my W pen. Don't tell anybody, but it's really writes great. He was like, people come here for the day, and they enjoy all.
Show the pen.
I didn't steal it, like, you know,
we could all see each other, but this is pretty much a podcast. So we're
I stole the W pen at the pool, but
people
were coming.
Wait, it's not designed it's not designed for video because it's mostly an audio podcast, but we do videotape it because we do like clips and whatnot. So if someone's listening to this audio, you didn't see the pen, but we did a close up of the pen for that way.
It wrote really well. I was like, oops, dropped the pen, stole the pen. Yeah. Deserve the pen. Go ahead, Jill.
So I just went onto the W website because I love that idea, Stacey. I think it's great. You went on the W Fort Lauderdale. I'm talking about now.
You can go on W on PompanoBeachRealEstateFinder.com.
I'm on that too, but just going off the subject of the W Pompano Day Pass, the W Fort Lauderdale Day Pass, which I think is a great thing for even listeners to know about, that all over South Florida, there's these day passes that you could get. But anyway, to sum it up, I went on the W Fort Lauderdale, and they have a pool day pass for $120. You get valid discounted parking, a lounge chair, and pool towel, and admission for one. It's really nice if you don't want to go all the way to Bimini for the day and spend a lot of money and a lot of vacation time. For the day, go to the pool. There's probably a lot of we could probably do a whole podcast on this and do research on it for pools in Boca. You could probably do it at many pools in Boca Raton as well. And it's
this one you can walk to. This is right on the beach. Our hotel room included, because we stayed there, the one of the beach lounge chairs with the canopy for the day, because they charge extra. But there's also a beach restaurant and a beach bar and a pool bar, so you could have the whole day. You can eat. I was telling Matt I had 3 hot dogs, like it was the last day. But it was great. I saw people coming in there and getting their towels and stuff. And I asked the guy, I'm like, "What's going on? Is there a party or something?" And he said, "No." And it was a Monday. That's pretty much why I asked. I said, "Is something going on?" And he said, "No, it's day pass people coming for the day." I'm like, "Oh, interesting."
And I think there has to be a website where you could just go on and find day passes in hotels. And let me tell you, if you're coming to look at real estate in Boca to make this relevant, get a day pass. Like, enjoy the day in this Florida sunshine. This is why you're moving here, right? Absolutely. Look at real estate with us, and then go for a day pass somewhere.
Jill,
and enjoy.
if you are looking for a day pass at a hotel, the two best websites to find one. One is called Resort Pass, and it's dedicated to exactly what we're talking about. I've used it in the Caribbean and whatnot.
I love it.
Because if you're going on like a cruise, you might want to. I think the Atlantis was one of the first people to pioneer this. Right, they built this water park, and they sell tickets to it. You don't have to be a hotel guest. When I was younger and I went to the Atlantis, they really didn't have that. But they had so many people coming off cruise ships and trespassing in the hotels. Like what I said, before to Stacy, can you just go in and walk around and use the pool? Some hotels you totally can. They'd have no idea. But just like the free breakfast, right? Which I've not done. I've not walked into a Hampton Inn and gotten a free breakfast. But people are doing it. So there are people that will just walk into a hotel and just start using the amenities. But Resort Pass is one. The other one I would recommend if you're looking for a hotel day pass is Viator, which does all kinds of, when you're on a cruise or on a vacation, they do all kinds of tours. So sometimes hotels will list their day passes on Viator. So
how do you spell that?
Viator is Viator. And
okay.
like when I'm planning a vacation, if I'm going to Ireland and I want to say, all right, what should I do in the city of Cork? I'll go on Viator, and they'll say there'll be a tour, a walking tour, a pub tour, whatever it is, ghost tour. Right. Viator does that. It when people do it on cruise ships, right? They book through the cruise ship, but Viator is a huge booking engine for things like that. Not limited to hotels, but Resort Pass is limited to hotels. Back to the W Pompano Beach. Someone asked if it was built yet. It is not. I don't even think they broke ground yet. But Preston's been showing and taking people on tours of the sales center. It's beautiful. Now there's a Waldorf Astoria going up. The Armani Casa was just announced. Riva, the boat manufacturer, they're building a tower in Pompano Beach. Wow. So while Boca Raton may be the big orange, and we can't fit all of New York City in Boca Raton, like I said, there is the rest of Florida, and Pompano Beach has some tremendous opportunities, and especially if New Yorkers like living in a high rise. We're going to shout out to Pompano Beach for maybe they should be considered the big orange.
I haven't been to the pier at Pompano, but I hear it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think if you can get in now, I probably would. Who's the person that says the best day to get real estate is today? I showed Pompano in 2020 houses that were on the water with deep water access with no fixed bridges. There were in houses in distress, let's say, houses that were abandoned that you could get in pennies. I'm sure now they're all, under construction with new buyers because Pompano is the place to be.
Can you guys see on your screen the website?
No,
I can't.
I'm used to Zoom. I'm fairly new to StreamYard, but you can't. You didn't see it. I was trying to do a screen share. Didn't work. All right. Anyway, all right. So if you want to, how about that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's it. Is it moving or no?
Yeah, it's moving.
All right. So anyway, this is just for people who are watching the video. If you're listening on audio, the way podcast should be, you're not seeing anything. So we will go back to where we were.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
When I was there, it kind of makes you want to live on the ocean. I always say that every time. I'm like, I could live in a 1-bedroom on the oceen and have the best life. And my kids are like, we won't fit in the 1-bedroom, Mom. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. But and then when I'm there, I'm like, and we have room service. I think room service is my favorite thing on earth.
Yeah.
So someone will clean your apartment because you can live there. You get to pretend you're on vacation one day, work the next day, or work from your apartment. Like everybody did,
Yeah. that's what I think is most attractive about the W that I like a lot is it's the whatever whenever policy they have. I mean, they literally have every service under the sun that you could think of concierge for you.
Yeah.
You know, if it's mirrors, dusting, walking your dog, what everything you can imagine. And that's just like you don't see that like hardly ever.
That's true. I like that.
All right. So forgetting about Pompano, we're going back to the mayor's statement. I was listening to the news this morning and national news, and the mayor was quoted. So that was interesting.
Yeah, we're a headline. I think it's great if people are coming and they. I don't know. I feel like people all know about Boca Raton. You know, I mean, we're in Mason City. We have the beach, and it's not like every other city where you have to pack up the car and go. You know, you're here. You could go to the beach for an hour here, or you could live on the beach, obviously, but you could go there just for an hour to straighten your mind and breathe in the salt air, and then or take a walk on the, on A1A or have a drink, and then come home and not tell anybody, right? Take a mini vacation in your mind, and then
I've been known to do that when I show properties. I used to keep a beach locker at the old Boca Resort.
Yeah.
And if I had an hour or so between appointments, anything, I can kept a bathing suit in the beach locker, and then went to go out on the beach for a little bit and come back, or just go there just to stare at the beach.
To escape. Yeah. When I was selling, I had a client that was buying on the beach, and when they would leave, I would just stand there, pretend I lived there. And I was like, okay, I love it here. This is great. Why don't I live here? But then, sometimes I just set myself straight when I pull up in my driveway and everything is right in front of me and I walk right in. And the boys and I were talking about it. We were like, you don't have to get valet or park your car or talk to anyone and I'm like, really? It's kind of a luxury, and also but what I wanted to say is what they don't do here, because we want the view all 360, what they do in Houston, which I noticed, is the apartment buildings have a parking garage right on top of it, right next to it. And so you park on your floor and you walk in, right? So you don't have a view in one direction because that's where the parking garage is. But the parking garage is right next to the building, right?
If it's a 30-story building, is it a 30-story parking garage?
I don't know. I stayed in like a 6-story building with a 6-story parking garage. Mm-hmm. And it was right next to the building. So you would go around and around until you reach your floor and then park. Every resident had their own parking for the apartment. And then you'd walk in. So you do park, let's say you have groceries, you walk right into your floor's door, and then you walk right into your apartment. So you don't have to go up or down because your car is on your floor, which I actually thought was amazing. And I'm trying to think, why don't they have that here? Because it is pretty cool. It's very convenient. But I think it's because we want the view on every side of the building, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't picture what you're telling me, but it like in my mind, it sounds terrible. It sounds like it would look like an awful.
You don't see that it's a parking garage because it looks like part of the building. I'll pull it up and see if I can send you it. It's not a bad, it doesn't look bad from the street. It's a brand new building that I stayed into. And it was so convenient. And I was like, wow, this is amazing that you can park and just walk in on your here.
All right. What else do we have to say about moving to the Big Orange?
Well, if you're interested in moving to Florida, then contact us, because that's what we're waiting for.
Did we lose Jill?
We did. Yeah, she's in the.
Oh,
she's coming back.
I'm playing with the icons on the screen because we lost Jill.
Yeah, I lost my connection and then I was backstage.
This is the first time we're recording on StreamYard. How's everybody like it?
I like it.
Cool.
It's convenient.
Good.
Convenient.
You asked me a question that I didn't answer because I said it was Preston's turn, so I will now respond. Said something about Stacey was saying like everybody from New York because of this. We didn't talk about the reason that prompted this conversation. What prompted the mayor's quote? What prompted the Big Orange?
Right.
New York City is having their mayoral race, and the sitting mayor of New York, Eric Adams, was facing a lot of challenges in the primary, including former Governor Cuomo, and I don't remember the name of the person that won the primary, but I really haven't followed all of the news on it. Jill, have you followed the news on the winner of the New York City Democratic primary for mayor?
A little bit. I was reading about it. Supposedly he's a socialist, and people are saying also that he's anti-Semitic.
I'm trying to figure
That's
out.
what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I don't know what.
His name is Zohan Mamdani. Zohran. Mamdani.
Basically, he says that he wants to raise both the business tax and the income taxes, as well as property taxes on some wealthier, mostly white neighborhoods to fund his $10 billion socialist utopia. This is coming right out of the article from the New York Post.
Yeah, but I don't find New York Post to be a trusted source, and I try to like stick with some like non-biased information. That's why I'm trying to like bite my tongue because I don't want to, I don't want to say like the headlines that I'm reading because
You don't want to
I don't
spread
know
rumors.
I don't want to spread any misinformation, but certainly he's a liberal.
I guess you could go on like maybe
Yeah. So anyway, so he's a New York City assemblyman. He's a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, and been endorsed by the likes of Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. He was born in Uganda to parents of Indian descent, and I don't always know when the right is playing Chicken Little and saying the sky is falling, right? Because if you say everyone's a communist, then what do you do when a real communist comes in? So I don't know, right? So I don't know if he's a real communist. I don't know how liberal he is. I only just started hearing about him. He's when they say he's an anti-Semitic, if you remember a couple of years back, the International Criminal Court indicted Benjamin Netanyahu, and Benjamin Netanyahu couldn't go to certain countries in Europe because they would have arrested him. Benjamin Netanyahu is the prime minister of Israel. So in his campaign, he said that he would enforce that if Benjamin Netanyahu came to New York City, that he would arrest him. Which, New York City, it's not the capital of the U.S., but the UN is in the New York City. So if Benjamin Netanyahu came to New York City to speak before the UN, the mayor would arrest him. That's troubling because Benjamin Netanyahu often goes to the UN to speak on behalf of his country. And if you've never heard him at the UN, he's brilliant, in my opinion. If you go on YouTube and check out some of the speeches he's made at the UN, I find him to be brilliant and inspiring. I find it troubling that that the mayor of New York's, which I would think would welcome him, would go so far as to arrest him. So that's why I find it troubling. That's why some people would say he's anti-Semitic. I don't want to get political here. We're playing with it a little bit if people are upset about New York City. But that's what prompted all of this, and we shall see. In my mind, hopefully, he loses in the general election. Right, he's not the mayor yet. I believe that the incumbent mayor, Eric Adams, who I think is an amazing mayor, or he's still the mayor. I think he's done an amazing job in New York City. Certainly, I don't always say praising things about members of the Democrat Party, but I would, I would certainly think that Eric Adams was an amazing mayor. I guess that's what makes the left or the Democrat Party unhappy, right? If someone like me is happy with their candidate,
this reminds me of. Do you remember when we first started podcasting and we had the buttons on the thing, and we could do applause and like, and all the sound effects? If I could right now go, on my sound effect thing, and that's what I would press. We had applause and people laughing, remember, in the beginning? That was fun. We need that back. Can we add that to this? Because it was really fun.
Yeah.
I think now in the days of social media and everything, people are just using things for their benefit. Like you hear about this and now it's like, okay, well, let's talk about Boca. I mean, I don't know if I should be talking about this on our podcast, but I think people use things to their benefit and exemplify them and overemphasize them for the short period of time that we can capitalize on this until the race, right?
Right.
That's what people are doing. Be honest.
Yeah. And that's my issue, right? If the right wing would say that about any left candidate, any Democrat candidate, then the words become meaningless. However, this guy is particularly troubling. I don't know that much about him. We will learn. Hopefully, if he does become moot. So, like I said, Eric Adams, the current mayor, is planning on running as an independent. So I imagine in the general election, probably the worst thing that happens is a third person enters the race, because when there is three people, they tend to split the vote. So hopefully Eric Adams runs as an independent, wins in the general election, and this all becomes moot. But this guy is troubling. I believe even like the New York Times editorial board, which is generally pretty neutral. I think I don't know that the New York Times is super biased one way or another. I could be wrong. But their issue with him was, a lack of experience, right? One term on the New York City Assembly, that puts, as much as I don't like Governor Cuomo, as much as I despise Governor Cuomo, I can't argue that he's not qualified, right? I disagree with his politics. I can't argue that he's not qualified. Whereas a one-term assemblyman is the last mayor of New York City with that experience was Bill de Blasio, who was by all accounts a terrible mayor. So anyway, that's what started this. That's what prompted this. If you're listening, and obviously, again, not to talk politics on this. I do think people can talk about politics. Obviously, the four people on this show have differing politics, and we can talk peacefully and coexist without attacking each other. So that's obviously good. But that's the issue, and we're making light of it by saying come to Boca. One of the things, Stacey, that you asked me was, you said this is nothing new, right? Like during COVID, everybody was coming to Boca. There's been waves of people coming to Boca over the years, and they come for the same reasons. I met with I had a call a couple of years ago. It was before COVID, but it was a customer of mine. I sold him a house maybe 2, 3, 4 years earlier, and he called me up, super excited. Matt, I got to talk to you. Like it was immediate. Like sometimes when people call me, it's like, hey, Matt, can you meet? And I don't know what it's about. If it's social, if they just want some ideas. Rabbi New from East Boca, his secretary called me the other day, or his assistant called me the other day, said, Rabbi would like to meet with you on Thursday. And I said, listen, I'm going to Europe on Wednesday. Can I wait till I come back? Or is he looking to buy or sell real estate? In which case, can he meet with me before I leave? But if he wants to just talk Jewish stuff or get me to be more Jewish or donate to his kids' campaign. Can we talk when I get back from Europe, right? So there's a difference between why they want to talk to me. So anyway, this customer called me up, all excited. I go meet with him. He had this great idea. He was pitching me. He had a brilliant idea that he was trying to pitch me, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it. And basically, what he said was that he grew up in a very, very small apartment in New York City. He said like a mouse, right? A little tiny house, like a little tiny mouse. And then he comes to Florida and he buys a big house for less money, right? Less taxes, less expensive, big house, less money. Would you rather be in a small house, more money, big house, less money? So he was loving Florida so much that he got this idea that we can go out and buy investment properties and get people from the north. We say New York, but it's all of the north, right? New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts. We can go out and we can get people to come to Florida and rent those properties from us. He called me into a meeting. He had this big idea. He was so excited. And I'm listening to his whole pitch.
Yeah.
How he grew up in a little mountain south of New York. And the essence of his pitch was that Florida is better than New York and that we should get people from New York to come down here.
Like he just looked up.
I'm like, yeah, that's like that's been happening here for like 100 years. We've been doing that here in Florida. like Henry Flagler and Addison Meisner. Addison Meisner built a beautiful hotel to get people from the north to come down for the winter. In the 20s, I think it was the 20s, right? And then you had Arthur Vining Davis, who built Broken Sound and Boca West, etc. Boca West and Broken Sound was built so that people in the north can come down, not even full time, just for the winter, play some golf, go back home. That's why Boca West has all those tutus, right? Because it wasn't even meant you live there just to have a weekend house for golf. So I mean, that's been Florida's business model developers. Carl Hyacint's written books about the development of Florida. That's the entire development of Florida. This guy comes down in 2015, and I used to say he's like Christopher Columbus. He discovered a brand new world. So this is controversial. I'll say Ponce de Leon, but he'd come down. He discovered a brand new world. He's the first person ever to discover it. He's gonna go back home, tell everybody about it.
I like it. You should give him my number, but it makes me laugh because he reminds me of every single person that just discovered a Publix BOGO or something like that.
Isn't this great? Yes, you discovered a brand new world. Go back home and tell all of your friends about this brand new world that you discovered that was filled with people. Filled with people that were living here. But you got this great idea to go back home and tell people to come. I mean, we were crushed during COVID, and there was one other wave after COVID and before this communist mayor. There was one other wave of things that was bringing people, triggering people to come to New York, and I don't remember what that was. And do you remember the one before COVID that made it a lot of money? The ice storms. Remember the crazy ice storms that were going up from Texas and all through New York and New Jersey, and the river in Livingston froze.
Yes, there was a river of water in New York, right?
Yeah. We made a fortune from those ice storms, but again, the people were coming down from New York. Florida was welcoming them with open arms. So yeah.
And there's a lot of people leaving California as well from the fires and all of natural disasters and that sort of thing.
Yeah, fires. So the fires was also but was also COVID and shutdown.
Yeah.
So your house was on fire, but there was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's amazing. I mean, houses. Jill and I took over the development sales of Stone Creek Ranch 15 years ago, and houses that were selling for $5, $6, $7, $8 million are now going for $40, $50, $60 million. $55 million for a house in Stone Creek Ranch, and we're trying to sell one for $23 million, and we're positioning it like it's a bargain.
funny.
So that was there might have been one other thing of politics I wanted to discuss on the podcast. I figured since we're here, we might as well. But now I'm blanking on it.
The library.
The Trump Library.
Oh.
Since we're here, let's talk about the Trump Library. Jill, what do you hear about the Trump Library? Jill's gone again. Stacey, what do you hear about the Trump Library?
I hear I don't want it, and Lynn University can have it. But I'm not a fan. I encourage people to come to FAU. I love FAU. I went to FAU after University of Maryland for like 10 years. I went to college, and I taught at FAU, and my son goes to FAU, and I wish I taught at FAU still, and I love being on the campus. It's amazing. And Jill, your husband's lucky enough to work there, and he's, I don't support the Trump Library at FAU. I hope it goes somewhere else. Just as much as I didn't like enjoying when the Palm Beach the Palm Beach airport shut down when Trump came home to Mar-a-Lago, and we got all of the air traffic because it was diverted. I love Boca, but I lived in the airport landing pattern, and it was just overwhelming amounts of jets coming here, and I started to get aggravated just for that reason. I don't think people would be mad at a president for coming home, but I was mad that they closed the airport because now all the air traffic was crazy in Boca. But I don't support it. I hope that it doesn't come here. I'm not proud of that person. So I'm sure it will bring the thing is, it would be great if it brought a lot of people to FAU, but they're not the people that I exactly want to come to FAU. And I think that is the thing.
Jill,
Yes.
We got Stacey's reaction to the Trump Library, but I have not filled anyone in yet listening if they don't know of what happened, and I'm happy to do that. Actually, let me do that first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the presidential library, I forget which president, it was probably about 40 or 50 years ago, they made the first presidential library because all of the records of the president need to be stored somewhere. So back in the day, if Abraham Lincoln doesn't have a library, and Andrew Jackson doesn't have a library. Andrew Jackson has his childhood home, the home he grew up with, and as a museum. It's called the Hermitage. It's in Nashville, but it's not a library. Maybe, was it FDR that was the first library? FDR has an amazing presidential library in Hyde Park, New York, and basically they're privately funded. The government does not pay for the presidential library, but all the presidential records, all the files, all the papers, all the gifts the president receives, they're not his personally, or his or hers, right? They don't get to keep it. The government gets it. So it used to be just filed in the Library of Congress or just filed in the archives. So now with this concept of presidential libraries, you make these museums that document the history of the presidency of that particular president, and the gifts and the things and the records are stored there. If anyone's doing research, they can go there and do this research. So, the Reagan Library is out in California, and the Obama Library is in Chicago. The George W. Bush Presidential Library is on campus in Dallas, on the campus of Southern Methodist University. And there was a post on Facebook recently, and this is what started the conversation. And then Stacey tagged me or shared it with me. And basically, what the news was last week, that the governor signed into law that decisions on presidential libraries would be made at the state level, not by each individual public college in Florida. I would say college in Florida, but the private colleges the state can't control. They can't control Lynn or Eckerd or University of Tampa. But the public colleges, University of Florida, Florida State, FAU, FIU, they would be controlled by the decision on presidential libraries would be made at the state level, and this basically opened the door for the graphic was the Trump Presidential Library at FAU, because FAU is in Palm Beach County where Trump lives. It geographically makes the most sense for that to be the site of a possible Trump Presidential Library. And what the governor in the state was doing was taking the power away from the FAU administration to make that decision, giving it to the federal government, giving it to the state government. So that was what the news headline was. I don't know how far along a possible Trump Presidential Library at FAU would be. So, Jill?
Well, just to give, well, here's the thing. I mean, the Obama Library, I looked it up, is still being built.
It's still being built.
So, yeah, these things take time. So I don't see if it, okay, obviously the decision on whether it's coming, I don't know when that's going to happen, when the decision is going to be made, but it's going to take a very long time to be completed. Mm-hmm. Unless it doesn't, because maybe Trump has more money than other presidents and can make it happen really fast. I don't know.
Also, even having nothing to do with Trump, construction and permitting and building in Florida is very efficient. And not just Florida, in the city of Boca Raton, the permitting and construction process, part of the Big Orange campaign, is we are very pro-business.
It's probably already permitted and approved and already has a builder, contractor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so in a city like Chicago, in a state like Illinois, it could take a very long time to build something, whereas in Boca Raton, I was amazed when I moved here how quickly things happen, and really, and what I came up with coming from New Jersey is that probably people are still being bribed, but the work is actually happening. It's not that all the money's going to bribery. Like some money's getting stolen, but some of the money's actually going to the roads and the development in the schools. Whereas in New Jersey, just none of it was getting to where it needed to be. So that's part of the Big Orange campaign, is that this is we're a competent city that someone can come in and build and function, or a functional city. So we shall see what happens. When I went
it's been talked about for a while. They've been talking about it for a while. That news article just came out, but I know my husband has known about it for a while.
Well, the news article was giving the power to make that decision to the state rather than the college.
Okay, right.
That was an important thing. So that the people that run the college may not have a choice. So yeah, if you've never been to a presidential library, I'd highly recommend it, regardless of which president. Again, the FDR Presidential Library. I'm not an FDR fan. I'm not a fan of that particular political party, but it's still an amazing thing. W political library, and it's interesting. W is not without its controversies, but like I said, when W was president, like I said about this mayor, right? Like if you call everyone a communist, when you won't see a real one, right? As much as W was hated, right? Then along comes Trump, and people are like, "Oh, I wish we had W."
It's all relative.
And the thing is, people don't remember how much they disliked W. It's crazy when I talk to people. But the left hated W. But when he was president, they were wishing for Reagan. And I'm like, do you remember how much you hated Reagan? The last Republican before Reagan was pretty hated as well. Nixon, if you don't know. Nixon. So everything. By the way, everything goes back to Nixon.
I just posted when I saw the Trump Library thing. I posted underneath it. my position, and also that in case people didn't know, because they don't know Boca Raton very well, we are a diverse community and welcome all types of people. And I was independent for the longest time, and I'm pretty non-political, but I do want people to know you can be a Republican or a Democrat and be best friends with your neighbor here, or not if you don't want to. But yeah,
it depends. Some people make it intolerable.
Yeah. But if you want to live in a non-HOA community, most people don't really have the money or the time to put that much energy into politics. They're just worried about their house and their family. Those people, you can come and talk to me. Those are my favorite clients, right?
Absolutely. All right. Any last words from anyone?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the Real Estate Finder podcast. I'm Matthew Maschler, real estate broker, coming to you live from the Big Orange, Boca Raton, Florida, with Stacey Garcia, Jill Glanzer, Preston Smith, everyone else at the Real Estate Finder team. Check us out at realestatefinder.com. Pompano Beach, realestatefinder.com for all your information about the W in Pompano Beach. Reach out to Preston for more information about that, or Jill or Stacey about any of the new construction going on in the state of Florida.
The future looks bright and the storms pass by. The sky's dark blue and it's almost that time. Light shows, cameras flash when I pass. Living in the moment, forget about the past. They save the best for last. Matthew Mania, we about to make a splash. Life is a marathon full of sharp turns. Gotta keep pace while the hands on the clock turns. High stakes, 5-star real estate. I run a show, you can tell the boss in a place. Electricity, energy, it vibrates. I'm always on time even if I'm late. I make dreams come true, living my life, hope the same for you. Success in my sights, got a real clear view. If you don't know the time, I'll give you a clue. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. Yeah. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. Yeah, got him shook, scared, can't look. We're not afraid of the big